Lovely. Well, I'm really looking forward to speaking with you today, Zoe. I know that you're a woman of many talents, and I've known you for, I think, since 2007 on and off, and we've crossed paths and things like that. So I'm really looking forward to having this chat with you today and just really showing women what you do and how you make a difference in the world. And yeah, so welcome.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's great to be here.
So I know over the last, 18 months, 2 years since COVID's hit, you've really been on that emotional roller coaster ride with your businesses. And I'd really love to know how you felt when that first hit and what you had to do to overcome the challenges of the whole world basically shutting down when you're in travel and events.
Yeah, and it really happened all so fast, and I'll actually never forget the day, because I was down in Wollongong. It was something like the 4th or 5th of March in 2020 with a major conference event, and there was about 300 travel agents in the room, and we were all there for a 3-day conference, all excited. And we basically sat down, and the CEO, because Spectacular Events is part of a Hello World group, or my travel group in the affiliates, and the CEO stood up and basically said to us, this is what is going to happen in the next 2 weeks. And you could have hit us, you could have knocked any of us down with a feather. And the emotion at that moment in the room, and the gasps and the disbelief probably as to what was happening, because from our perspective, it was, there's a bit of a flu again, it's another SARS or it's another bird flu, and it'll come in and it'll go, but it'll be fine. And exactly what Andrew Burns read out to us at that moment is exactly what happened over the next 2 weeks. And, that room was full of people. Most of us have had, if you're in travel and events, we tend to have been in here for a long time. We love it. Yeah. And so many of those owners, and myself included, my business is 23 years old now. It was no way is this going to happen, but it is. And the world literally shut down. And for me, it was I'll never forget that moment, but it was mind blowing, because most of my work is in group travel and major conferences. So big groups of people, all groups of school kids, sporting people, special interest groups heading at the time all overseas. And we had nearly 40 groups that were due to depart in Easter, which was in April. And all of a sudden, I went from literally having the biggest couple of months I'd ever had in business and was so excited about, to literally not only having absolutely nothing, but having to work 24/7 around the clock to unravel all of that and basically give back everything we had earned for the 6 months leading up to that. So wow. It was massive. It was massive. And that's not just me. That would have been any travel agent, any event organizer. There's lots of industries affected. But it literally was that radical, from, wow, this is the best time ever, to, oh my gosh, is this really happening? But you can't just bury your head in the sand and say it's not happening and I can't help, or I'm not going to do this. And I think that was a really big thing in our industry, was we had to keep working and we had to help. And of course we wanted to help, but it was a full-time job unraveling all of the work we'd done for sort of 6 to 12 months beforehand. And massive.
Yes.
Massive impact.
Yeah. And having to tell people that they can no longer travel to, things that they've been looking forward to for so long. You've got to have those conversations, and, all of the emotional impact on everyone at that time, as well as the financial impact for your company. It really is like someone's ripped out the carpet from underneath you and just left you on your bum for a little while.
Yeah, and it's even been like that for the last full 18 months or so, because some people were, for instance, I was supposed to be bringing a whole load of teams here for a World Cup cricket event that was supposed to be in 2020. We rolled it over. And a lot of those people are based overseas. And even now they're very, we're coming. We're definitely coming to Australia. There's no reason we're going to come. But they can't. And you're dealing with that, because people are resilient. They're keen to travel. Nobody's lost their passion and for wanting to travel the world and do things and new experiences, but they actually can't, and that's been really very hard for people to get their heads around. And also those refund processes were taking 9 to 12 months. It was a huge thing, and a lot of emotion attached to that. And almost we became counsellors, having to work with people and work out all their options. And some of my greatest learnings, without doubt, have been in this last couple of years. And I'm very grateful. I've always dabbled in a few other things as well. So events is my world. It always has been. But that was sort of how 4 years ago I started Shine Business Women, which was to deliver some of those events that I do for corporate groups, that people could get to see the high profile speakers. They got to experience amazing professional and personal development, because I've always thought that that's been a big motivator, and part of my drive and passion is I've been so lucky to see so many of those people speak.
Yeah.
And so, most of the things I do, they are all wrapped up and tied up together. But it's also been my saving grace in some ways, because I've still been able to work on those projects and develop those projects and go forward, which is great. Whereas a lot of people in our industry haven't been able to do that. They're not sure where to go. What do I do now? Whereas I feel very lucky, very blessed that I've been able to roll over a lot of those things and find new opportunities still in the fields that I love and am passionate about.
Yeah, so you was able to just pivot and change your focus, because really both businesses had such a big impact with COVID. But we were so lucky in Queensland that we didn't, go into this massive lockdown. We've scraped through, barely being untouched, with our freedom.
Yeah.
And so you've been able to still run excellent events and have a room full of women, which has been absolutely fantastic. So it's really good that you've been able to swap your focus and still keep going during this time.
Yeah, and it's been very, very different. A lot of what I was doing last year was women were really reaching out. They wanted to catch up with people and have a get together for a coffee, and their lives were changing so fast, so their businesses were changing so fast. And the Sunshine Coast is full of a lot of amazing entrepreneurial women that are go-getters and make things happen. And all of a sudden their lives were turned upside down because they were having to homeschool and their partners were suddenly at home working. And so they had all of that to deal with, as well as their businesses and what they were doing. And the impact was huge. So it was I found it amazing. It was when I developed my podcast. It was when we started to do some online stuff. It was all about connection and giving women, obviously, in particular, an avenue. But I've always loved to sort of mentor people and work with small businesses, particularly women in business, but all businesses really. And if I can support and help in some way, I've actually found that really rewarding. And that's helped me through some of those more difficult times. And it's still happening. In real terms, I was supposed to run 2 major events in September, and both of those had to be cancelled. So even though Queensland is open, we can't get people here from other states. And most of the work I do is that 300 to 600 person conference where people come from all over Australia and New Zealand usually too. So I'm still postponing and unraveling and chopping and changing. And I think we're going to be in a world that's like that for a little while to come. It's going to take a while for us to bounce back completely. And so we must never stop growing and looking for new opportunities and how we can keep improving and doing things better, I think.
Yeah, I think it's Australia that's a bit slower opening up, because obviously my parents are in England and my husband's parents live in Spain, and they're open and free to travel to Europe, to America, wherever they want. It's literally all opened up again, and we can fly over there and be allowed in, but we can't actually get back.
Can't get back. I know. And that's where the tide has suddenly turned, I think, because for so long Australia was looked at as being the place and we've got it nailed and we're doing so well. And now all of a sudden, we're getting there, and we will get there quite quickly. But as you say, the rest of the world is opening up and we're the ones that can't. And that last little lockdown in July really knocked people's confidence, I think, in a lot of ways. And hopefully we can get those vaccination rates and whether you're pro-vaccination or anti-vaccination, the reality is that's what's going to open up the country and get things moving again. And so, from our perspective, having watched what's happened in the last couple of years, people want to get moving again and want to get traveling, and hopefully that happens sooner rather than later.
Yes, yeah, it's so good to travel. We, before COVID, used to go abroad 2 or 3 times a year. Like, it's my passion to travel and see different countries, and I've been lucky enough to travel a lot and see a lot of the world. And when we first went into lockdown, we didn't actually have a holiday book, so we was really lucky because it was the first time we'd never had anything actually booked in advance. And now
that's good.
Yeah, it's given us the opportunity to go to different places in Queensland and really explore home. And but now it's like I'm getting ready to want to travel again and to go to all these different places. So what has been your favorite place to travel to?
And I often get asked this question, and I always go back to I was only about 21 when I went to Egypt, and that has always left a hugely lasting imprint on my mind as being one of my favorites. But also I was able to experience going through all of Brazil and through the Amazon about 3 or 4 years ago now, which I absolutely loved. And a massive thing had been on my bucket list had been to go to the Taj Mahal, which I was able to do as well, which is probably 7 or 8 years ago now. So, I'm like you. I love to wander, explore, check out different places. Very rare. My family, I actually have a lot of family in the UK as well. That's where I grew up. So I do go back there every couple of years usually. But apart from that, everywhere I go is always somewhere different, because I want to experience and see something different and see what it has to offer, which is good.
Yeah, there's so much to learn from traveling and going to different countries and just experiencing their way of life and seeing their history and everything. It's fascinating. I absolutely adore traveling, so it will be great when we open up again and can really go off flying. What do you think's going to happen when we actually open up? Like, do you think that everyone is just going to start booking holidays and you're going to have to wait a couple of years to be able to go again? Like, what do you predict?
I personally, and it is my opinion, I feel that it will take a long while to get back to normal, because it won't be as if we open up and all of a sudden everything goes back to the way that it used to be. There will be a gradual reintroduction of airlines and schedules and things like this. So I think the demand will by far outweigh what can actually be delivered in the short term. So I do think it will take a long time for it to all bounce back. I think it will be that we can access certain countries quite quickly. So the Europes, the Americas, Canada, a lot of parts of Asia, which Singapore and Japan and places like that have been really focusing on getting everyone back in. But I think places like South Africa, where it's riddled with it at the moment and it's really suffering. I think places like that, it will become quite hard for us to get to for some time, which is a shame. But I just think it will be a gradual process. So every time we keep getting told, we'll open in 3, but we've been told we're going to open in 3 months' time. Actually, a lot over the last couple of years. I think it will be mid next year before we really start moving and shaking and starting to get a lot more freedom. I think in the new year we will start opening up and it will start happening. The thing for me, or what I'm concerned about at the moment, is when New South Wales and Victoria open to us, we are going to end up with COVID coming through, and so just hopefully we're prepared and ready for that. But the sooner we can all learn to live with the virus, and the sooner we will get all those freedoms back. But I don't know, in our industry we tend to think it will be 2023, 2024 before things will get back to what they were prior to 2019.
Yeah, wow. And I think you're right. I think it's something that we are going to have to live with, because I know that England's still getting about 33,000 cases a day being reported, and they're living with it now. So I think you're right, it's going to be something that we learn to live with. And, you know, if people are vaccinated and taking precautions and things like that, when they are traveling, then it's going to allow us to open up much quicker as well.
Yeah, but I think a lot of new exciting opportunities will come out of it too. Like if you look at
Yeah,
pandemics and things that have happened in the world previously, you know, and world wars, things like that, that have major impact. Yeah, we do come out. It takes a little while to come out, but then all of a sudden it's a new world with new opportunities. And I find that part quite exciting as to, you know, what will be all the things that we start to do next, and not only in travel, but also in business and in our development and growth and all that sort of stuff. So, you know, I like to look forward to all those sorts of things as to where we're heading next and what opportunities will come out of this that we never even knew existed.
Yes, yeah, because another part of your business company that's been able to grow during this is your sunshine boxes.
Yeah, well, we launched that nearly 12 months ago, and that actually came out of, because with all my group and conference work, when people come to the coast, we actually don't have many hotels here on the coast that have restaurants and things attached. It's mainly apartment style and Airbnb. So I was being asked all the time to organize dinners or organize where can we go and where's the best place to eat and all this. So I thought, well, okay, let's put together breakfast boxes and cheese and wine boxes and things like that we can deliver and offer that to holiday people. But it's really gone well in the corporate market. And I guess because, you know, I've been here a long time, I have a lot of contacts that I've been pushing it out to, and everybody loves. And what I'm super passionate about is that it supports all local businesses. It's all Sunshine Coast products. Small businesses that, you know, we're getting out there and getting them some recognition. And I've met a whole group of new people that I didn't even know existed in that whole food and wine and space, which has been terrific. So I love that. And we're ramping up at the moment. We're getting ready for pre-orders for Christmas. We've got all sorts of new exciting stuff going on there. So yeah, I started the world 2021 with the word simplify. I like to pick a word every year that I'm going to focus on, and I've been absolutely hopeless. My life is even more complicated with more things than ever, but I guess I wouldn't have it any other way, really.
Yeah, yeah. And, you know, a beautiful thing that's come out of everything that's been going on is, like you said, that connection and meeting new people and being able to help each other in really, you know, difficult times. So yeah, the sunshine boxes and the way you've been able to support, you know, local businesses with their produce and everything has just been fantastic.
Yeah, and I think everybody's into that. You know, how can we support local? How can we collaborate? How can we work together? And that's been a really great thing that's come out of this. We've you referred to traveling in our own backyard. Well, I think we've been doing everything a lot more in our own backyard, even though a lot of it's been online. But we've started to think about how can we help our community, support our community, and help them grow. And that's a really important thing, I think.
Yeah, definitely. It's just feels like people's hearts are opening up more, and, you know, that selfishness that was around a little bit has been cleared, because people are all trying to help each other to stay afloat and to keep morale up and things like that. So I think it's had a good, you know, impact as well.
Yeah, there's always positives as well as negatives that come out of these things.
Yes, and it's really how you look at it, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, you can stay in that victimhood and, you know, stay in that lower energy, or you can really see what magic can come from it. Yeah.
And I think a lot of people have, you know, and I look at people who've completely overhauled their businesses, and, you know, I use the word pivot, which I know everyone's over, but that's truly what they've done. They've looked at whole new ways of doing things, got into areas and working in areas that they've never even thought about before. And it's been a way that's really given us all a good shake up, and out of that there's been some amazing, great, fantastic success stories as well, which is awesome.
Yes. Yeah, it's really been a time of opportunity and growth if you've been open to that as well.
Yeah. And it's a choice, isn't it, whether we want to grow, progress and go forward, or whether we think, oh, you know, doom and gloom. How we look on the world is how it will be, I think.
Yes, yeah, definitely. Well, it's been absolutely fantastic speaking with you, Zoe. You are a woman who really can wear so many different hats and really create that connection in the community and far beyond that as well. So it's, you know, a privilege to speak with you and show women that we don't have to just stay in our lane. We can change lanes and be open to so many different opportunities and still have that connection as we're all growing together, and really being able to support each other as times can be like changing, and, you know, really be there to make sure that everyone's okay. And I've really seen you doing that and reaching out to people, and so yeah, it's a privilege to speak with you today and see how well you've done, and hopefully give other women, you know, that confidence to just keep going, or to see that there's always opportunities when that tension's there, or we can think that, you know, there's no way out.
Yeah. And one of my mantras is always to be brave and push through. And I think sometimes if we can be brave enough to try something different and look for something different, then it's amazing what comes about. But and thank you for having me, because it's been amazing to get to talk to you as well, and I really appreciate the opportunity.
Yes, lovely. All right, well, have a wonderful day, and I'll speak with you again soon.
All right, thanks, Anne.
See ya.